Hey friends, welcome to another Bible time. This is yet another episode in our In-Breaking series following Epiphany and leading up to the Lenten season. I'm so glad that you're with me today, and I am going to task you with listening for something in our Bible story today. Are you ready? Do you need to write it down? Are you sure you're going to remember? Okay, so here's what you're listening for. You are going to listen for the miracle, the mission, and the grumblers. Let's say that again. The miracle, the mission, and the grumblers. All right, are you ready? Let's dive in. In our passage today, we're starting with John chapter 6, verse 25. But right before this happens, Jesus just fed 5,000 people and then sent his disciples away on a boat only to walk on the water out to meet them. And when they get to the other side, the people that Jesus fed miraculously, just by multiplying the food that was there, had already sought him out and had beat him to the other shore. And here is what they say. When they found him on the other side of the lake, they asked him, "Rabbi, when did you get here?" Jesus answered, "I tell you the truth. You are looking for me not because you saw miraculous signs, but because you ate the loaves and had your fill. Do not work for food that spoils, but for food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. On him the Father has placed his seal of approval." Then they asked him, "What must we do to do the works God requires?" Jesus answered, "The work of God is this, to believe in the one he has sent." Then Jesus declared, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry, and he who believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, and still you don't believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never drive away. For I have come down from heaven not to do my will, but to do the will of him who sent me. And this is the will of him who sent me, that I shall lose none of those he has given me, but raise them up at the last day. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day." At this, the Jewish leaders began to grumble about him because he said, "I am the bread that came down from heaven." They said, "Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How can he now say, I came down from heaven?" "Stop grumbling among yourselves," Jesus answered. "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day." All right, this is kind of a hard passage. Unlike a lot of other passages where there's a lot of action, like Jesus walking on the water, or feeding 5,000, or healing the leper, or making water into wine, this is a lot of talking. But did you hear it? Did you hear the things we were looking for? What was the miracle? All right, so some of you are saying Jesus fed the 5,000. Some of you are saying Jesus walked on water, and that's true. Both of those are referenced. What else? The raising to eternal life. Jesus is talking about a future miracle in which everyone who believes in him will be raised forever and will not die. Isn't that amazing? Eternal life. All right, so there's the miracle. Several miracles, really. What's the mission? Let me ask it a different way. What is Jesus trying to do? And what are his listeners called to do? All right, so what's Jesus trying to do? Yeah, he's trying to tell them about why he's there and what he's wanting to do, about the miracle, right? And what are his listeners called to do? They're called to believe. All right, so we have the miracle, we have the mission. Now, who are the grumblers? Did you hear it in the story? The grumblers are the religious people. Oh, that's not a good thing. I don't know about you, but I get a little nervous every time I hear the religious people grumbling in these Bible stories because I'm one of those religious people. I work at the church and I love Jesus and I feel called to tell people more about Jesus and help them understand who he is and invite them into God's mission. So that makes me one of the religious people. Am I also a grumbler? What about you? Are you a grumbler? Do you hear other people talk about what God has done and kind of roll your eyes at it? Or do you see other people who are trying to do things in the world and trying to follow Jesus and turn up your nose at them or think that you're better than them? Do you hear where someone is from and go, ugh, really? Or do you look at someone's clothing and judge them? Are we the grumblers? Or are we the ones who believe? Sometimes I think I'm both. And so I guess my challenge to us today, friends, is to pay attention when we are the grumblers and to pray to God that we might have more faith and be the believers, that we might join Jesus on this mission, this wonderful mission to help the world believe that Jesus is who he says he is. Jesus is the bread of life. And we need food in this lifetime, we do. But we also can trust that Jesus will provide for all of our needs. And we don't need to grumble. I love you, friends. I hope you have a blessed week, and I will see you soon.